Oh, well, anyone that has known me for any length of time or talked to me in any for any length of time knows that I not only look at events that are going on in the United States, even though that's where I live. Those people would tell you that, well, they've heard me several times say that if you want to know what is coming to America, to the United States, you should look at Europe. It seems like the things that go on in Europe are 10, 15, 20 years ahead of what's coming to the United States. They also know I'm very much a Second Amendment advocate. I believe in the right to bear arms. But I've been watching. I not only watch American channels, I watch ones from Europe. And about a week ago, I saw a story where now in Britain they haven't outright ban guns, but they make it very, very. They impede you quite a bit in order to own one. They ban pistols outright, and in order to have a shotgun or a small caliber weapon, you have to be licensed by the government to have that firearm. So they've done everything they could but ban the gun entirely, thinking that that would alleviate their problem. You look at Australia, they've just outright banned guns completely. You are not allowed to own a gun in Australia. But that's them, or so we think. You look in Britain now with the massive influx of foreign migrants, of illegal, what we call here illegal aliens. They basically broke the laws to get there. And because of the drastic cultural shift that's going on there, now they find themselves with a problem of stabbings. People are taking knives because that's the only weapon they are allowed to have, and they are going out and stabbing people. In fact, just a week ago, there was a young high school student who was stabbed right in the school. It's akin to our school shootings. One student had a beef for some reason and decided to bring a knife to school and stabbed his classmate. And the boy died. Now, because of that, they have actually started legislation in their parliament to ban knives or, you know, very drastically curtail them. They cannot have a point. They cannot have a sharp edge. I mean, they'd be basically, you'd have to use a butter knife to cut your bread. And to us, we're like, wow, that'll never come to the United States. Look at the anti-gun people. Now, I'm a firm believer. Something has to be done. We can't be like that in a modern civil society. We can't just, well, I don't like your opinion, so I'll just stop you from having it. I'll kill you. That's it's not. We've gone away from looking at these articles, these things, as what they are. They are tools. I've said it before on here and to anyone that's ever talked to me. A gun is a tool, just like a knife is a tool, just like a screwdriver is a tool. You can use, you know, people, it's within their mental capability to be able to screw something up so bad that they use a tool for the wrong thing. You know, how many of us have not thought of using a hammer as a fly swatter? It's anything's possible up here. But we focus our efforts on getting rid of that which offends us. For somebody to go into a school with a gun and kill his fellow human beings, not to mention classmates, that's offensive to any right thinking adult or person. We are not, we were designed to be social. That's our basis. We were meant to be social. We are social creations. It goes against everything that we were designed for, to harm or kill another human being. But we were given free will. So we can think whatever we want. There are plenty of people in my life and probably in your life that I think, you know, my life would be a whole lot easier if they just didn't exist. But I'm not going to go out there and, in the vernacular of today, you know, unexist them. I'm not going to do that because that goes against everything that I think. If you have a problem, you either go around it or overcome it. You don't just disintegrate it. That's not how you solve problems in a modern society. But getting back to Britain, now there's legislation going through Parliament to ban knives. So, what's the next step? They find out 10, 15 years down the road, well, that didn't work either. We've made it almost impossible for the average person to defend themselves. And people still keep threatening each other. We got rid of the knives. You know, what's next? If you have, I have jewelry files down here that come to a pointed end. I could use them to kill somebody too. You know, I where do we go? There have been stories of people killing another person with a baseball bat. Should we ban baseball? Should we ban baseball bats? There have been stories about people that use an axe that you use to cut wood, split wood. A lot of people, especially here in America, you got a lot of people that heat their house with wood. But there's also been people that have been killed with axes. Ban the axe. Okay, now how do we split our wood? The problem is we don't go after the problem. We all the superfluous stuff around it is what we go after, but we don't address the problem. The problem is not the tool. A gun is a tool. A knife is a tool. An axe is a tool. A sharp file is a tool. It's the person that picks up the tool. You could put a gun on the table, fully loaded and everything. And if nobody touches that gun, not one person will die from it. I've had guns all my life. And me personally, I have never had the opportunity, I have never been given the opportunity or given, I was in the military, but I never took a gun and killed another human being with it. Thankfully. I went to war, but during the war, I loaded bombs on airplanes. I had a gun. I still have guns, but it. It's not in my head to go out and, well, that person pissed me off. I'm going to end their life. That's just never been a thought to me. We have to start using the thought process that we all have, reasonable, critical thinking. If I kill that person, is it going to change my situation at all? No, it'll probably make it worse. Because eventually they will find you. And then you will go away for a long, long time. Or if they bring back the death penalty, you will go away permanently. And then all the people that cared about you and loved you will be missing that one aspect that you brought into their life. So it's not only a losing situation for yourself, but it's a losing situation for all those that hold you dear. So what should we go after? How should we solve this problem? Well, taking a look at the way people are thinking. Go take care of the person, not the tool. Get the tool out of their grasp and take a look at the person. What is going on in their mind? What is going on in their life? Caring about each other. And yeah, there may be those that they say, I don't want your help. Well, that's a cry for help. They acknowledge they need help. They just don't want your help because it's too embarrassing or because, they might lose face, whatever the reason. I know of a lot of people that are like that. But if I can't give them help, maybe somebody else can, if you can point them in that direction. But the problem is not with the object, the tool. So banning guns, banning, screwdrivers, banning spoons, banning, our minds can think of 101 different ways to wrongly use a tool. But if we sit and critically think ahead, because a lot of these instances, there's not much thought that goes into them, and not a long process of thought. One day somebody says something that you don't like. Well, you go home. Next day, you didn't think about it all that much. You just said, I'll just grab my knife and I'll go in and I'll kill them. I'll just grab my pistol and I'll go in and shoot them. That'll solve it. No thought whatsoever. There was no critical thinking. But if you can get them away from all these objects that they could use to solve their problems, and get them thinking, if you kill that person, or if you end that person's life, or if you make that person so they can't speak anymore, how is that going to solve your problem? You won't have to hear from that person. Well, what if somebody else says the same thing? You're going to stop that person too, the same way? You're going to kill that person or maim them to the point where they can't speak anymore? And what's to say a third person won't come up and say the same thing? How far are you going to go killing or maiming these people until you start to say, hey, maybe the problem's with me? It's I'm saddened every time I hear of another school shooting, or somebody went in and shot up a a mall somewhere, or there was another mass killing. It saddens me as someone that's seen way too much killing in his own life. I mean, 10 seconds is too much. And I've seen probably more than that. It's it's not a good place to be, whether you have your full faculties or not. It's not a good place to be. To me, the only time, and luckily I haven't had that circumstance yet, the only time that it is justified to take another life is if they are threatening your own life, threatening the life of your family, those you are bound to protect, or taking your property, invading your home. Those are the only, we have the right to defend ourselves. And when it's done, there's no way you can feel good about it. You might need some sort of help yourself. the taking of a life should not come easily. If it does, there's something wrong. And yeah, I'm talking about, you know, all those veterans out there too, that they've had to take human life. I'm not saying that now they're ruined forever, but chances are they know the ramifications that can come about from taking another life. I know personally, I hope I never do have to use my weapons in self-defense. And I'm a hunter. To feed my family, that's what that tool was designed for. To defend my family, that's what that tool was designed for. Not to have power over somebody, not to silence a differing opinion. That's not what that was designed for. A gun, knife, hammer, screwdriver, whatever. That's not what it was designed for. We've lost the art of critically thinking through our plans, our thoughts, thinking through what you are intending to a time afterwards. What's going to happen if I do this? And to logically think out the process of what would happen. We've lost that art. We've lost that ability. And some may say it was due to our technology. We don't have to think. I mean, you got a world of knowledge at your fingertips with just a smartphone. You know, how do I make this type of weapon? How can I get over on this type of person? We've lost the art of, we've lost so many arts, it's not even funny. The art of debate, the art of critical thinking, the, you know, it's the more technologically advanced we get, the more basic human arts we lose. Because it is an art to talk yourself down from a psychotic rage. That is an art. I wish more of us had it or were able to do it or to keep calm in a very stressful situation. That is an art that there's some professions out there that you need that art to start out with. Air traffic control. You need to keep a straight head, even though you've got multi-million-dollar planes flying into each other, as we saw in Washington, D.C. That art we needed is needed in that we've lost so many of them. The problems I see in coming from in Europe, it doesn't have to be that way. We've through some miracle we ended up voting in a government now that actually does critically think. They know cause and effect. Number one, we got a president that's a businessman. That, you know, that's what he does. Cause and effect. Cost analysis. If we do this, what's it going to cost us? What's going to be the end effect? We don't have the luxury to base our actions on emotions, because emotions, believe me, they'll get us in trouble more than anything else. If we let our emotions get the better of us, we will fail. I hope Britain wises up, because they've all but banned guns, and I see that coming. Well, we've already got it here. We got a large section of our population that wants to ban all guns. That'll solve all our crime issues. No, it won't. Because you ban the gun, they'll pick up something else. And then if you make it a law, well, the only ones that will abide by the law are the law abiding. The criminal, he's already a criminal. He's going to break the law, whether you like it or not, no matter how many congressmen voted into being, they're going to break it. That's why they're criminals. But if you take away the only means of self-defense that the people have, the criminals are going to start running rampant. They're going to own the country. But I see what's going on in Europe. I look at it as a precursor to what comes here. And then I keep my ear to the ground to see what's going on here. I figure out what's right, what's wrong about what's going on in Europe, and I watch for that here. You know, I guess what I'm saying is you got to be vigilant. Whether you like politics, whether you hate it, is irrelevant. It affects us in every stage of our lives, especially in a society like we have. You have to keep vigilant. Otherwise, you're just going to be swept under the rug. You're going to find yourself in a worse place than you were before. Be vigilant. Stand up for yourself. Don't be afraid to talk to people of differing opinions. Bring back the art of debate. Well, here I am, got about 30 seconds left. So until I find some other means to record these and make them a little bit longer, I'm going to have to stop for now. But I'll try and make another one tomorrow. So until then, Semper Fi.